Hey, it's Bill DeWeese from voice-over-training.com. Hoping you're having a great day. Hope you're getting lots of voiceover business today. If you're not getting lots of voiceover business today, it's most likely because you do not have a marketing plan, or the marketing plan you have may not be an effective marketing plan. And I talk a lot about, really my expertise is in building businesses and marketing. I spent many, many years working in not only media, but in sales and marketing and in building businesses. And that I've taken that knowledge and that information and applied it to my voiceover business to build a substantial voiceover business. And I understand that sometimes the frustration that you experience when you're building a business is simply because the plan is not right, or elements of the plan are not right. And I talk a lot about the business plan or the marketing plan, but let me talk more about the components of that plan, and you can check those against the components of your plan, or maybe you're in the process of wanting to put together a plan and you want to know what those components are. So let's talk about those. I believe there are 4 things that you need to take into consideration when creating your voiceover business and marketing plan. And first of all, you need to decide, or I call it the person you want to send it to, which is actually much broader than just the individual. You need to look at industry. You need to look at what avenues within that industry. In other words, for instance, let's say that I want to focus specifically on radio imaging. Well, if that's the case, then I need to make sure that I am contacting and communicating and marketing to the right outlets. In this case, it would obviously be radio stations or radio groups, and then specifically to what people within those radio stations. Well, if I'm doing radio imaging, ultimately, in most situations, probably 90% of the time, the program director has that responsibility. Occasionally, a station manager or a production director might have some involvement, but typically you're looking for the program director. That's certainly a good place to start. If you're wanting to do TV promos, you're probably looking at the creative director or the production director. If you're looking at video houses, production houses, you're most likely looking for the creative director, and so on and so forth. So do a little research to make sure that you are targeting the right places and the right people, because if your message doesn't get to the right person, well, then you're off to a bad start, obviously. Also, if you can get names and specific contact information by making telephone calls or sending emails and asking who is responsible for choosing voiceover talent. Or who is responsible for listening to voiceover demos. And if you can get a name and an email and even a phone number, all the better. So the more information, the more specific, the better. The second element of your marketing plan should be your message. Now, we know who we're sending it to. We'll assume that we know who we send it to. Secondly is, what are we going to say to them? So, and how are we going to deliver that message? Are we going to deliver it by telephone? Are we going to deliver it by mail? Are we going to deliver it by email? Or preferably all of those things, because a marketing communication plan should have a built-in component of ongoing regular communication with your prospective client. But always start with this, excuse me, and what is the objective of that communication? What is it you want them to do? And if you've read the old Stephen Covey book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I'm sure you're familiar with the phrase, begin with the end in mind. That is just a very useful phrase to keep in mind, because before you set out to do anything, to accomplish anything, you need to know what it is you're trying to accomplish. So with your marketing communication, let's say hypothetically it's going to be an email. What is it you want to accomplish? What is it that you want your prospect to do? Are you wanting them to listen to your demo? Are you wanting to set up an appointment, a time to talk with them? Are you simply wanting to get their agreement for you to submit your demo? Know what that is. Now, most cases when I'm doing marketing to my prospective clients, I'm wanting to get simply a go-ahead to direct them or send them my demos. I want to know if they're accepting them, and if they are, I want to make sure that it's okay for me to send them, for them to review them. That's a good place to start. Now, it may not always be the best thing depending on your circumstances, who you're contacting, what your market is, but as a general rule of thumb, that's a really good place to start. So you want to make sure you know what the objective is, what it is you're trying to accomplish. And then you want to make sure, in business communication, you want to make sure your message is professional and direct. In other words, we tend to be creative people on this end of the microphone. Oftentimes on the other end, certainly there's an element of creativity, but also it's very much business. And they want to know what it is that you want. And so do not waste their time. Be very upfront and state what it is you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish within your message. And normally that should all be done in the first paragraph. Also, you want to establish your credibility within your message. So if you have credits or maybe amount of time that you've been in the industry, the fact that you have a home studio, those are good things to incorporate into your message. So we want to send it to the right person. We want to make sure that we send the right message. Next of all, we want to give the right impression. Ultimately, in most cases, the demo will decide whether you're hired or not, or maybe it's an audition, which is also a demo, a custom demo. But oftentimes, it's simply the way you present yourself or you present the information, the email, the letterhead, the way you conduct yourself on a telephone. Is it professional? For instance, with my email, I want to make sure that if I'm using a logo, that my signature looks professional. I want to make sure my logo is good. Also, in my logo, I list some credits so that hopefully that helps to increase the positive impression they have of my experience and my professionalism. If you're using letterhead to send letters, you want to make sure that looks professional. If you're calling on the telephone, you want to keep it professional by keeping it brief, succinct, and to the point. Not wasting time is of paramount importance in a business situation. So have the right person, have the right message, make the right impression. And then, and here, this is really big because oftentimes we do the first three right, but if we don't do the fourth thing right, and that is remain top of mind, then the first 3 points become moot because the issue is competition for attention. People don't remember you. They don't remember me. It doesn't matter how great you are. It doesn't matter how personable you are. It doesn't matter how talented you are. The fact is they've got a million other things competing for their attention. And when that job comes up that you're good for, which may be next week, next month, next year, most likely you're not going to be top of mind unless you have a systematic way of communicating and staying top of mind. And there are a number of ways to do that. I always suggest that you have at least 6 to 12 what I call marketing touches per year. You need to touch your clients and your prospects. At least 6, preferably closer to 12 times a year. And that can come in various ways, shapes, and forms. It could be newsletters. It could be telephone calls. And I don't have time to get into all the nitty-gritty of the different ways and how you want to utilize those communications. But email, video, email, and again, another effective tool of communication. Letters. There was a client that I work with now on a regular basis in Nashville, Tennessee, that I was down in Nashville and I just stopped in and had a real nice, ended up being a long, friendly visit. Some real Southern hospitality there. And now they end up using me on a regular basis over ISDN for sessions. So there are multiple ways to do it, but you must have a systematic plan of staying in touch. So 4 elements to your marketing plan. All right, the right person. Make sure you're the right person. Make sure you're delivering the right message. Make sure you're giving the right impression. And then, of paramount importance, is make sure that you remain top of mind by having an ongoing marketing communication plan. And that will help to make sure that you continue to use to the best the contacts that you make, the people that you come in contact with. You don't want to waste those opportunities, and it will increase your chances of success and that you will continue to grow your business over time. I hope that you found this information helpful. And if you've been struggling with your marketing plan or what to do or how to do it, or it hasn't been working for you, measure it against those 4 components: person, message, impression, and your top of mind, remaining top of mind by having a marketing communication plan. I wish you all the best in your voiceover business. Great success. And for more tools, information, resources, please visit my website, voice-over-training.org, because it is dedicated to equipping you for voiceover success. Until next time.